Karima succumbed to COVID-19 last week. Her memorial service is being held at the Sacred Heart College in Johannesburg. Let's take you there live.
Thank you, Lebo. This is a celebration. It's not somber, although there will be tears. Give her another round of applause. Because that's what Karima was about. She wasn't scared of emotion. And there was laughter even when she was in hospital. I was just going through my WhatsApp messages of when she had just been admitted. And I must be careful because this is a family show. But Karima's sense of humor was wicked, even in ICU, on her way to ICU. I'll read some of it. Just be very careful what I read out. Just after she was admitted, I actually messaged her and I said, I wish I could phone you because I want the frontline description. As die ward terrible met snaakse figuur mense, Karima, is the ward full of weird people. To which she responded with a laughing emoticon, yes. And almal is kwaad. Everyone is looking really like they are, not in a good mood. And then she said, first thing I did was to take my specs off. Now I really can't see them. So that was Karima. Her sense of humor was intact right till the end, even as she was facing adversity. Obviously, Karima was fundamentally a political animal. A couple of minutes after that message, I was instructed to find her a copy of the State of the Nation address. And some of my journalist friends and colleagues who are here will know because I messaged them and said, do you have a copy of the Stoner? Because she wanted it. Even while she was admitted, she wanted to know what it is that the president is saying. And I said to her, I'm waiting, I've asked, because normally I'd get it from her. And the person from whom you get it is now in hospital. To which she responded, can you in the meanwhile just take videos as you're watching TV? So there I am. Karima's in hospital in the ward, the COVID ward, and I'm busy watching TV so I can send her clips because she was that dedicated to her beat. Many people misdescribe her. She certainly was deeply committed to trying to understand the ANC, but ANC politicians also have enormous respect for Karima because as much as she was steeped in political ideology, she knew them so much better than any of us amongst the journos that you also knew their secrets and could leverage that for the accountability role of journalism. And that is why you will hear in the reflections of some of the pre-recorded messages that relationship coming through. To that end, I want to play a pre-recording from Minister Pravin Gordhan, who couldn't be here because his doctors advised him to be careful, which is important. We would never want this to be a super spreader event and folks with comorbidities in particular being exposed. But Pravin is someone with whom Karima had an interesting professional relationship. And the minister had the following to say, reflecting on Karima.
Good afternoon, comrades and friends, and in particular, Mikhail and the siblings of Karima Brown. Today, as we celebrate the life of an activist, a mother, a comrade, an eminent journalist, a friend, and above all, a patriot, it's time to reflect on the wonderful things that we have all experienced in very different ways from this unique and exemplary human being. She was a person who had a deep love for this country and for democracy in particular. She was passionate about making democracy work. She was passionate about ensuring that democracy results in a better life for the millions of poor people in this country and elsewhere in the world. And she was passionate about ensuring that there's social justice above all, even within a democratic environment. Here was a person whose passion was mixed with anguish. Anguish at how things didn't work out. Anguish and sometimes even despair, as many of you know, about the slowness of people ending up in orange uniforms. about the lack of charges and arrests and prosecutions of those who everyone knows has been guilty of the kind of history of state capture and corruption that we've experienced over the last 10 years. She was not scared, and in fact, the opposite, very brave, to call out even her own colleagues in the profession who wittingly or unwittingly defended corruption, defended the corruptors, and sometimes unwittingly or wittingly advanced state capture itself. And in that sense, as a journalist, she exemplified courage, she exemplified truth-telling, whether it was to us who are activists in the state or to people elsewhere in other social institutions. She wouldn't hesitate to say where you're wrong. She wouldn't hesitate at the same time to say you've done a good piece of work. She had an approach to her journalism and indeed to her activism which cut below the surface. And in that sense, she introduced a unique dimension in journalistic commentary and in her various interactions. And that is where the analytical element, which is so missing in our society today, and an analytical element that comes with a fair declaration of the various, if you like, ideological or quasi-ideological stances that each of us might actually have. But nonetheless, she teaches us, and we hope we will continue to do this, that we need to not just fall for the echo chamber, be satisfied with sound bites, but indeed look at the trends and the currents that are unfolding both in the world and within our own country and continent, and understand them better, and understand their impact on elites and how they manipulate societies, on the so-called middlemen factor and middlewomen as well, but more importantly, how societies end up as unequal as they do become today, whether in the developed world or in the developing world itself. And that's a dimension, I hope, that her colleagues in the profession will actually take forward. She was a person who was constantly, if you like, agitated, constantly passionate, constantly seeking that missing element that would actually advance democracy, advance clean government, advance the strengthening of civil society, and ensure that each of us walked the straight line, that each of us were true to the cause that we proclaimed publicly. And where we didn't, she did not hesitate to challenge us. She did not hesitate to put forward an alternate version to us. And I'm sure that many of you are familiar with that. And in a world where values seem to be diluted, integrity seems to be diminishing, and honesty is a rare quality, she made sure that those qualities, in fact, came to the fore once again. And all of you know that if you want to earn her trust, if you want to be her true friend, if you want her to associate with you in whatever capacity, then these are the elements that have to be reflected in your own lifestyle, in your own culture, and in your actions at a day-to-day level. And in that sense, she wasn't a hack. She won over so many people, what many of you would call her network, purely on the basis that they have learned over a period of time to trust her, to see her as this very honest and straightforward person who was human at the end of the day, who understood her own weaknesses, who could be excitable, who could be very explosive, and who could be very impatient with all of us as well. And at the same time, beloved Karima taught us so many things, left behind a new set of standards for us to pursue, and to judge ourselves and judge others by a set of criteria that many would like not to see in our society. So as we say farewell to her, let us celebrate those wonderful qualities. Let us recognize that with those qualities come human weaknesses in every one of us. And it's the daily tussle that we fight internally and externally as we walk this road towards a better democracy, a better life, a better South Africa. Hamba Karima.